All right, so say I do make a mistake in my code. Something we're going to learn in the following slides later on in this lesson is that semicolons are required at the end of every single statement. So if I omit a semicolon, notice my compiler's already letting me know of an error. I see these red squiggly lines on my Java file here, on my class file. Um, and then I see the red squiggly lines at the end of my line of code. If I want to see the context actions here, it actually tells me, hey, I can already tell you how to fix this error. You just have to insert a semicolon. If I was working with like a really long line of code, so let's say I had a lot of code on this file, I can see here on my scroll bar even, I can navigate straight up to that error. So let me delete some of those lines. Oops. Keep making a mistake there. Okay, there we go. So what happens if I try to run code that has a syntax error, right? That I didn't follow all the rules of Java and I try to run it. Um, Specifically, I write code that can't be translated because I didn't follow those rules. Because it can't be translated, we say it can't be compiled by Java C, right? The Java compiler. So I'm gonna hit run. Let's see what happens. So I'm gonna experience my first error here, right? It's saying, hey, we expected to see a semicolon at the end of line 4 here. So that's what it's telling you. So it says, you can actually click on this link here. It'll take you straight to that line of code. So say I was on another file. I don't know, one of these IDEA files, right? These IDEA files. If I click here on this link, after I try to run the code, it's going to take me straight to where the arrow is at. So that's really, really useful. This is part of debugging. Of course, we also have a debugging tool that we're going to explore a little bit more in detail as we start writing more Java programs. This tool is really useful because it allows you to run the code in steps. So say you have a complicated program where maybe you think the error is coming from a specific area, right? Or you're not sure what specific part of your code, right, is the one causing the error. That's common, right, when your code starts to get really complex. The debugger gives you extra tools so that you can not run the whole code at the same time, because that's kind of what the run button does. It's just going to run everything until it identifies an error. The debug actually allows you to run code wherever you want and lets you stop the code wherever you want. So it doesn't try to run everything at once or until it runs into an issue. You can decide where it starts and where it stops. So extremely useful, that debug tool. But we'll look at that in greater detail later on. So basic debugging is actually being able to identify the error, being able to read the error message that Java gives you, that the compiler gives you, and then going into your code and being able to fix it. So I'm gonna put my semicolon back in there. When I hit run, I can see, oh look, process finished with exit code 0. This means successful. This is a good thing. And of course, it did what I expected it to do. That's always another good way, right, to identify that there were no bugs in this code. I expected it to print out these two messages. We'll talk about the structure, right, of this code in some of the following slides. Remember, the basics of the IDEs, right, is what we're covering in this demo. Now notice there's a new folder here, right? Once I generate this code. So I'm gonna delete it so you can see it one more time because you might have not spotted it. When I hit run, that folder is generated. This is our bytecode. So when the compiler translates our code, it's actually translating it into a .class file. And I'm gonna hit accept. Oh, this is a decompiler. So this is not what it actually looks like. Apparently the IDE has a decompiler, which is interesting. So it shows us the original source code, right? But if we wanted to look at the actual file, I can navigate here to my idea folder. So I'm gonna go to this PC. I'm gonna go to my users, my name, idea projects. I'm gonna open up we're on new project, that out folder, until I get to this class folder. I'm gonna open up on Notepad so you can see what this translated code, right? So remember, the .java file is our human code. That's the code we wrote. once it gets translated, it turns into this nonsense. So this is the bytecode. Um, this is the code that has to be interpreted by the Java virtual machine, which we'll discuss in greater detail in some of the following slides. So if you wonder, right, oh, I hit run and then this weird folder came out, the out folder, and it has the same name as my file, main.java, but it's kind of written in nonsense. Now, of course, if I open it on the IDE, unfortunately, it shows me like a uh, de-interpreted version, decompiled version. I should say decompiled, not de-interpreted. So yeah, it has a decompiled version, so that's just original code. Um, if I wanted to see the actual one, again, I have to go to my actual File Explorer, open it, and this is the kind of mysterious, right? Harder to read, no longer human readable code. I can see the word hello world, but all these symbols after that are kind of nonsense to me. So yeah, this out folder is actually what your main.java or whatever your class name, right? Whatever your .java files that you write, because remember all the files we write are going to be in .java. The compiler is going to generate a counterpart, kind of like the parallel version of it, right? So after it gets translated, it has to produce a .class file, .class right there. So for every .java file, when you run it, it'll generate a .class file. Again, I know it sounds kind of weird. Sounds like I'm speaking a foreign language, but we'll discuss this in greater detail in some of the following slides. Just know .java files, that's the code we write. That's the source code. That is human readable. Believe it or not, this is going to be human readable to you at some point. But just know that when it does get translated, it's going to produce a .class file or that class extension. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Remember, this idea folder, non-essential. It's just for the IDE. For actual code, it's going to be in this source folder or SRC. That's where we put our source code. And then that's going to be where we put our Java files. If you wanted to add a Java file, you could just right click, go to new, and then notice it says Java class because all the files we create in Java are typically classes. We'll talk about that as well in some of the following slides. But yeah, that's pretty much the basics of the IntelliJ IDEA, right? So if I exit, it automatically saves, by the way, so you don't have to actually save it like if you were on Microsoft Word or something. So one of the benefits of an IDE. So if I click back here, it'll usually take you back to your most recent project that you were working on, that main.java. If you don't want to see that project, you can just go to File, Close Project, and you'll see your recent projects here. You can customize the appearance. It's a little shortcut to those settings. Plugins, these are like extras to kind of extend and customize the features of your IDE. So people will actually kind of write like mods. If you've ever had video game mods, right, they change the experience of that video game. Well, if you want to change your IDE experience, there's plugins as well. We're not going to cover that because we want to start bare bones, right? We're learning how to write Java. Any extra help, right, might just get in the way of us learning. So we don't need that extra help right now. It's going to be detrimental in my view. All right, so that's our IDEA demo, IntelliJ IDEA, our IntelliJ IDE. As always, if you have any questions, right, if you have any trouble navigating it, maybe you don't see exactly what I saw, or it's completely different, right, you can always send me a message and I can give you some helpful tips or advice.